Welcome to the Daily Current Affairs by CivicCentre IAS, where we shall discuss the top 10 important topics for the UPSC CSE Prelims for the day from the Hindu, the Indian Express and the PIB. Displayed are the list of topics which we have chosen for today's discussion. The first article of the day says that a delegation led by Maharashtra Culture Affairs Minister Ashish Shala is in Paris to seek UNESCO World Heritage status for the 12 forts of the Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj, according to the officials on Sunday. In this context, we will talk about the different aspects related to Maratha and also the forts which were mentioned. Okay. So, firstly, talking about the historical background with respect to Maratha military landscapes. See, it was originated under the rule of Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj in the year 1670. Know that it continued through subsequent Maratha rulers until the end of Peshwa rule in 1818. Furthermore, it showcased the military ingenuity and defensive architecture, helping the Marathas establish a powerful empire in India. Now, talking about the important forts which were mentioned in the news. Firstly, we have the Raigad Fort. See, it was built on a large wedge separated from the main range by a ravine, making it naturally fortified. Historically speaking, see, it was a permanent capital chosen by the Chhatrapati Shivaji as his permanent capital in 1662, and the capital was officially shifted to Raigad in 1670. Furthermore, in the 1674 CE, Shivaji Maharaj coronation took place here, where he adopted the title Chhatrapati. Strategically known as the Gibraltar of the East by the British due to its steep, inaccessible and solid nature, akin to the famous Gibraltar rock formation near the Mediterranean Sea. Moving on to talk about the Rajgarh Fort. See, the original name of it was Marambudev. Historically speaking, it served as the first capital under the Chhatrapati Shivaji for almost 26 years before the capital was moved to Raigad Fort. Know that the Treaty of Purandar, which means it is one of the 17 forts retained by the Shivaji when he signed the Treaty of Purandar with the Mughal general Jal Singh I, highlighting its strategic importance. Moving on to talk about the Shivneri Fort. See, the fort is renowned as the birthplace of Shivaji Maharaj, who is the founder of the Maratha Empire. Then we have Pratapgarh Fort, where the fort is famous for historical battle of Pratapgarh between Shivaji Maharaj and Afzal Khan in the year 1659, where the Shivaji's strategic brilliance was demonstrated. So, this battle showcased the Shivaji's guerrilla warfare tactics, becoming a turning point in Maratha-Mughal conflicts. Now, then we have the Vijayadurg Fort, which is the oldest fort with triple layered walls. And lastly, there is Sindhudurg Fort, which is the symbol of Maratha's naval power. The second article of the day says that the astronomers are excited to be poring over the first ever detailed geographical map of the moon's solar polar region, South Polar region, where India's Chandrayaan-3 lunar module, the Vikram, touched down on August 23rd of 2023. So, in this context, we'll talk about the Chandrayaan-3. See, it is a South Polar region of the moon, and it is the first ever mission to land in this region. Now, there are two main objectives to this mission. The first objective is to explore the lunar South Pole for the geological and chemical analysis, whereas the second objective is to confirm the existence of a primordial magma ocean beneath the lunar surface. Now, talking about the mission overall, see, it landed on the moon's South Polar region on August 23rd of 2023, marking the first ever exploration of this high altitude area. And also the Pragyan rover analyzed the chemical composition of the regolith, which is nothing but the lunar soil. Now, what are the key discoveries with respect to this mission? See, it confirmed the presence of the primordial magma ocean beneath the entire moon surface. And then it created the first detailed geological map of the South Polar region, revealing highlands and flat plains. Now, historically speaking, this is landing site whichever is there is estimated to be 3.7 billion years old, coinciding with the first signs of microbial life on Earth. Furthermore, the evidence supports the theory that the moon and the Earth originated from the same cloud of molten material. So, by landing near the South Pole Aitken Basin, which is one of the largest and the oldest impact craters in the solar system, and these lunar craters help calculate the age of geological features on other planets. But there are environmental concerns with respect to it. Firstly, the waste from the previous lunar missions may affect the lunar regolith and the thin lunar atmosphere, and then the exhaust fumes from the landers can contaminate lunar ice at the poles, impacting research on lunar water distribution. So, why is this significant? See, this solves the magma mystery, enhancing our understanding of the moon's origin and evolution. And also, it will highlight the challenges of the lunar colonization and the need for environmental preservation. Now, moving on to talk about the third article. It says that the foreign investors have pulled over 23,710 crore rupees from the Indian equity markets. So, for this month, pushing total outflows past 1 lakh crore rupees in 2025 and rising the global trade tensions. In this context, we'll talk about the foreign portfolio investment or the FPI. See, this FPI involves foreign investors purchasing and holding financial assets in a country outside their own. Know that it is a part of the country's capital account, which is shown on the balance of payments of the country. Now, you have to know that it is often referred as hot money because it tends to move quickly in and out of the countries, typically in response to the short-term economic, market, or political developments. Furthermore, this can be more volatile and predictable. Moving on to talk about the FPI in India. See, in India, FPI is regulated by the Securities and Exchange Board of India. In other words, it's also called SEBI. So, the term FPI typically refers to the foreign institutional investors or qualified foreign investors, which represent different types of foreign investors. Now, what drives the FPI flows into a country? See, the FPI inflows are influenced by various factors. The first factor is being economic stability. See, the investors are attracted to countries with stable and predictable economies where the risk of the economic shocks or the crisis is low. Secondly, with respect to the growth prospects, the countries with the strong growth prospects, especially emerging economies, tend to attract FPI as they offer potentially high returns. And thirdly, countries with a clear, transparent and favorable regulations that make it easy for the foreign investors to operate will attract more FPI. Furthermore, the countries offering higher returns are attractive to FPIs looking for profitable investments. Now, what are the differences between the FPI and FDI? See, while FPI tends to be more liquid and short-term focused, FDI, which is nothing but the foreign direct investment, typically involves long-term investments in companies or the projects within the country, providing more stable funding but potentially lower returns in the short run. Also, the FPI is considered riskier than FDI because of its volatility and tendency to leave quickly at the first signs of trouble in the host economy. The next article says that a study by Pune-based Indian Council of Medical Research, National Institute of Translational Virology and AIDS Research and the Mizoram University has highlighted how HIV self-testing has helped many young people in Mizoram get tested for the first time. Furthermore, the state has the highest HIV prevalence in the country. In this context, we'll talk about the HIV or the AIDS disease. See, the acquired immunodeficiency syndrome is a chronic, potentially life-threatening condition caused by the human immunodeficiency virus. Know that if HIV is not treated, it can even lead to AIDS. So, the HIV attacks CD4, which is the type of white blood cell of the T cells in the body's immune system. Furthermore, these T cells are those cells that move around the body, detecting anomalies and infections in the cells. So, after entering the body, HIV multiplies itself and destroys the CD4 cells, thus severely damaging the human immune system. But once this virus enters the body, it can never be removed. Know that the CD4 count of a person infected with HIV reduces significantly. Now, how is this HIV transmitted? See, the HIV can spread it through multiple sources by coming in direct contact with certain body fluids from a person who is infected by HIV who has a detectable viral route. Also, it can be blood, semen, rectal fluid, vaginal fluid, or breast milk. Now, what are the symptoms once the person is infected? See, once the HIV converts into AIDS, then it may prevent in initial symptoms like fatigue, fever, sores around the genitals or neck, pneumonia, etc. Now, what is this HIV self-testing? See, individuals collect their blood or the saliva samples and interpret the results themselves by using a test kit. But the advantages of it are like privacy, convenience, and reduced stigma. Now, how is this HIV treated? See, first method is the antiretroviral therapy, which involves taking a combination of HIV medicines every day. Know that the ART can't cure HIV, but it can control the virus, allowing people from the HIV to live longer, healthier lives, and reducing the risk of transmitting the virus to others. Also, then we have the pre-exposure prophylaxis, where it is a daily pill for people who don't have HIV, but there is a risk of getting it. When taken consistently, PrEP can reduce the risk of HIV infection. The next article says that the 2024 index that the Union Ministry of Panchayati Raj has published based on the study by the Indian Institute of Public Administration (IIPA) has seen Karnataka, Kerala, and Tamil Nadu topping the index and the Uttar Pradesh and Bihar recording the biggest improvement. In this context, we will talk about the Panchayat Devolution Index. See, the purpose of this index is that it evaluates the autonomy and empowerment of Panchayat Raj institutions, and secondly, it assesses the devolution of powers and resources to Panchayats, reflecting the Article 243G of the Constitution. Significantly, it is published by the Ministry of Panchayat Raj in collaboration with the Indian Institute of Public Administration. Now, what are the assessment parameters? See, the report assesses the performance of panchayats across 6 critical dimensions, which are the framework, functions, finances, functionaries, capacity enhancement, and accountability. Now, talking about the key findings of the Panchayat Devolution Index 2024, see the overall devolution or the devolution to the rural local bodies has increased from 39.9% in 2013-14 to 43.9% in 2021-22. So the top 3 states in the state rankings are Karnataka, which is the first, Kerala stood second, and Tamil Nadu stood third. And talking about the lowest rank, last 3 rankings, Dadra and Nagar Haveli and Daman and Diu, Puducherry and Ladakh. Now, moving on to talk about the panchayats in India. See, the 73rd Constitutional Amendment Act of 1992 introduced Part 9 in the Constitution, establishing Panchayat Raj institutions. So it is covered from the Article 243 to Article 243O. Furthermore, the 11th schedule lists the 29 subjects under the Panchayat jurisdiction, including agriculture, education, health, sanitation, and social welfare. So the 3-tier structure is that we have a Gram Panchayat at village level, Panchayat Samiti at block level, and Zilla Parishad at district level. Moving on to talk about the key features of the Panchayati Raj system. See, it is mandatory to conduct the direct elections every 5 years. So, furthermore, the 1/3 of the seats are reserved for women, including chairperson positions. Furthermore, the reservation for the scheduled castes and scheduled tribes based on the population proportion is given. Know that the State Finance Commission every 5 years reviews the financial position and they can make the recommendations. What is the funding source for it? See, they are funded through local taxes and non-tax revenues, state and central government grants, and lastly, recommendations by the SFCs. The next article says that since the launch of the 100-day Intensified TB-Mukt Bharat Abhiyan on 7 December 2024 by the Honorable Union Minister for Health and Family Welfare, over the 5.1 lakh notifications have been recorded across India. In this context, we'll talk about the 100-day Intensified TB-Mukt Bharat Abhiyan. See, the objective of that is to identify the cases early or the early identification and elimination of TB in India. So the strategy they're following is that firstly the X-ray screening, which introduced as a screening tool particularly for the high risk groups. Then the target groups are diabetics, smokers, alcoholics, people living with HIV, those with a history of TB geriatric population, household contacts of TB patients, etc. Also, you have to know that the technology used is the ultra portable handheld X-ray devices and nucleic acid amplification testing for confirmation. So, if we have to talk about the achievements, over 5.1 lakh TB notifications have been issued across India. Furthermore, over 10 lakh crore vulnerable individuals were screened. Furthermore, the TB patients identified were public health institutions where there are 2.4 lakh patients. Then the private care facilities, we have 1.1 lakh patients. Furthermore, there were Nikshay initiatives where 10 lakh Nikshay Shivas were organized, 836 Nikshay Vahans deployed for the remote outreach, 2.4 lakh Nikshay Mitras registered for the community support. So the approach we are following is the whole of the government approach where the collaboration is done with the chief ministers, cabinet ministers and senior officials from 22 ministries. Also active involvement through Nikshay Shapata encouraging support from individuals, community leaders, NGOs and corporates. Now how does it impact or what is the impact of it? See, by identifying subclinical or asymptomatic TB, thereby breaking the transmission chain. Furthermore, enhanced private sector involvement, where 36% notifications from the private sector reflecting the policy success. Lastly, alignment with the national goals, where bringing India closer to the goal of TB elimination. The next article talks about the Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana. In this context, we'll talk about it. In short, we call it the PMAY. See, the PMAY is a flagship housing credit linked subsidy scheme launched by the Government of India in 2015 to provide affordable housing to economically weaker sections and lower income groups of the country. Know that the scheme has two components: Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana Urban for the urban poor and Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana Gramin and Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana Rural for the rural poor. Furthermore, to address the gaps in the rural housing program and in the view of government's commitment to provide housing for all by the scheme 2024, Indira Awas Yojana has been restructured into Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana Gramin with effect from 1st April 2016. The objective of it is that it aims at providing a Pakka house with basic amenities to all houseless householders and those households living in the Kacha and dilapidated house by 2024. Know that the beneficiaries are identified using the Socio-Economic and Caste Census 2011, and the nodal ministry is the Ministry of Rural Development. Talking about its key features, firstly, a financial assistance of 1.2 lakh rupees in plain areas and 1.3 lakh rupees in hilly, difficult and integrated action plan areas is provided. Secondly, it encourages convergence with the other schemes like the Swachh Bharat mission for toilet construction and MGNREGA for wage employment. Significantly, in PMAY-G, program implementation and monitoring are to be carried out through an end-to-end e-governance model using Awas Soft and Awas app. The next article say that markets regulator SEBI is looking to expand the definition of qualified institutional buyers and remove 200 investor cap, allowing angel funds to access a broader pool of accredited investors. In this context, we'll look at the relevant aspects. So firstly, talking about angel funds, see, they are a subset of venture capital funds under the category 1 alternative investment funds as per the Security and Exchange Board of India regulations. Know that they pool capital from accredited investors to finance early stage startups, providing not only financial support but also mentorship and industry connections. Talking about its regulatory framework, see, the SEBI regulates angel funds to ensure transparency and protect investor interests. Key regulatory aspects include that the investors must meet accreditation requirements, ensuring they possess the financial capacity and risk tolerance necessary for the early stage investments. Secondly, the proposals have been made to adjust the investment thresholds, setting the range between 1 million and 250 million rupees, expanding opportunities for both investors as well as the startups. Thirdly, the SEBI has proposed removing the 200 investor limit for angel funds, allowing a broader pool of accredited investors to participate. Now, who are these qualified institutional buyers? See, they are institutional investors recognized for their expertise and financial strength, enabling them to participate in capital markets with a higher degree of sophistication. Furthermore, according to the SEBI issue of the Capital and Disclosure Requirements Regulations of 2018, these qualified institutional buyers include mutual funds, venture capital funds, alternative investment funds, foreign portfolio investors, public finance institutions, scheduled commercial banks, insurance companies registered with the Insurance Regulatory and Development Authority of India, and lastly, provident and pension funds with a minimum corpus of 25 crore rupees. Moving on to talk about the last article. It says that the Microsoft announced on February 19 that it has developed a new quantum computing chip called the Majorana 1. Know that the company considers Majorana 1 to be a breakthrough primarily because the chip has been developed by the engineering particles that exist in a new state of matter. In this context, we'll talk about the relevant aspects. See, the Microsoft announced the development of the Majorana 1, which is a new quantum computing chip, on February 19th of 2025. It is considered a significant breakthrough due to its topological core architecture, potentially scalable to 1,000,000 qubits, paving the way for solving industrial scale problems in 2027-29. Talking about its key features and technology. See, firstly, talking about the topological qubits. They are developed using the Majorana 0 modes, which are expected to be more stable and resistant to errors compared to traditional qubits. Furthermore, they are fabricated using the topoconductors made of indium arsenide and aluminium. Now, talking about the Majorana particles, they were first theorized by the Italian physicist Ettore Majorana over 80 years ago. Know that the particles are their own antiparticles are not naturally occurring. Microsoft claims to have shown signs of these particles on a superconducting nanowire device. Lastly, what is this quantum computing? See, quantum computing is a type of computing that uses principles of quantum mechanics to process information. So the core principle of its working is that unlike classical computers that use bits, quantum computers use quantum bits or the qubits, which can exist in multiple states simultaneously due to superposition. Furthermore, the potential is that they are capable of solving complex problems that are currently beyond the reach of classical computers, impacting fields like cryptography, drug discovery, material science, and artificial intelligence. We have a mention of the term called qubits. They are the fundamental units of quantum computing, analogous to bits in the classical computing, but with enhanced capabilities due to quantum properties. Now we have different types of qubits also, like the supercomputing qubits, topological qubits, trapped ion qubits, and lastly photonic qubits. So in this video we have discussed 9 articles in total for today. We'll be back again with another video tomorrow. Thank you.